George Birnbaum says it's almost a certainty that the Muslim Brotherhood gets in. He is the former chief of staff for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Sir, is it your proposition that if there is any kind of election in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood wins it, and that will be the last vote they ever see?
Well, let's take one quick step back. I think we in this country are blessed with an innate genetic subconscious that equate freedom and democracy. And while I think all people in the world deserve to be free, I'm not sure everyone in the world is ready for democracy. And in a country like Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood, as well as many other factions and organizations, will run in the political process. Remember, this is not a parliamentary system where it's one party versus another. There could be 15, 20 political parties on the ballot. And similar to what happened in Lebanon, similar to what happened in other countries in Gaza, an election takes place. You have a country of 80 million people, the 16th most populous country in the world. Many of the young men are out of work, unemployed. Organizations, not just like the Muslim Brotherhood, but others as well, which are helping financially and socially, will run in these elections. And whether or not they take a majority or a minority will have a great amount of influence in the country. And I'm afraid similar to what happened in Lebanon, where Hezbollah was able to depose the Prime Minister Hariri and then put in a puppet Prime Minister they control, a similar situation could take place in Egypt.
You know the situation well in Egypt. Would it be true to say that the Muslim Brotherhood is the best organized political faction, if you can call it that, at this moment?
I would have to say that they are probably the best, although, again, you know, in elections, anything is possible, and you can't control the outcome.
Hey, let me interrupt you for a second, because if they are the best organized, and as you say, they may well be, in the event of any election, they will have undue influence over any future government, if not dominating that government. I don't want to lead you into anything here, but there is grave concern that the Muslim Brotherhood exercises significant influence come the next election.
Listen, I think that's right. And again, you don't have to, in these types of parliamentary systems, you don't have to win 51% of the vote to have significant influence. Look at how much Hezbollah has in Lebanon. A 20% take of the vote could give the Muslim Brotherhood an enormous amount of influence in the government and an eventual takeover of the government.
I've got a couple of items I just want to throw at you. In Bahrain, which is very close to Saudi Arabia, of course, come Monday there will be a day of rage. Does that imply that this Islamic movement is spreading and its ferocity is spreading right in the doorstep of Saudi Arabia?
What we've seen throughout the Middle East, in fact throughout the world over the past several years, is an enormous growth in the levels of poverty in these countries. Israel, for instance, with Jordan on its eastern border, is in great danger too. You have King Abdullah, who's a Hashmonite, a minority population in the country, ruling a 70% Palestinian majority. He had to relieve his government a few weeks ago. If that country goes, and in Bahrain and other countries, suddenly you're going to find Israel in a similar position it was in 1948, where it'll be isolated, surrounded by Islamic countries, looking to see its destruction, with the one exception that Israel has the ability to defend itself this time. But that creates another problem, which is a regional, if not greater, war that the world will have to face.
George Birnbaum, thanks very much.